All right. There we go. All right. I'm recording it. I forgot. I tell you what, I've done pretty good. We've done this for quite a while now, and I actually did forget one time, and that was the time we were having network problems at the church, so it wouldn't have turned out too good anyway.
Oh, what's that?
Okay. Thank you for joining. I'm going to try to keep watching here and see if some more people join, but seems to have slowed down, and we're a little after 7. So let's we'll go ahead and get started. Now we've got one small dilemma. I don't see Ham on here, so we need somebody. If anybody is interested in making a motion about the treasurer's report and the minutes, this is your time to shine, because I don't see Ham on here.
I move
There we go. All right,
second
Ned.
it.
What do you move to do, Ned?
I move we approve the treasurer's report as reported in Sparks.
All right. I would say that you're a good second choice if Ham's not in. So all right. So we got a motion for the treasurer's report and the treasurer's report in the minutes. Do we have a second?
So move.
All right, Lynn, and all in favor? Yay!
Aye.
Strictly opposed. All right, too late. We've got it. Okay. Let's just go ahead and go into any other announcements or anything. Joe, you're unmuted, and you're usually good for some updates. What you got tonight?
Well, we've got 2 classes that I'm proposing. A tech class starting next Monday night on 6 Monday nights from 6:15 to 9:30. I see that we have one of our students, Kenneth, is with us. And he's tried to get on several classes before and hadn't made it. Glad to see him on. It'll be from 6:15 to 9:30. The exam will be on October the 18th, and the final class will be on the 25th of October. I've got so far 8 people signed up for the class, and I think I'll have 10 by Monday. The second class will be a general class, license class that I'm proposing, starting on November the 1st for 6 Monday nights through December the 6th. And it'll be 5 classes of classroom material for general, and then the exam on December the 6th. And then we'll probably have the extra class starting in the first part of January, but I want to wait until the first part of December before we do anything on it. One, to see if I have any general class students that are wanting it, as well as wait to see what the coronavirus is doing, whether it's in person or Zoom or whatever. The classes are in Zoom except for the test session date. And that is it.
Okay. All right.
If anybody wants to get into the general class, send me an email with the subject line general class and their name, call sign, and email address to wa4ovo@gmail.com. Name, call sign, email address, and cell phone number. And that's it.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, no problem. Let's see. Barry, I'm sure people are wondering. I guess you can say we the update is we don't have any update, right?
Yeah, I have no updates. Still waiting on the climbers, to contact me as to when they can do this, and we're kind of at their mercy, obviously.
Yeah.
And because they're probably going to be fitting us in. We're small potatoes.
Yeah.
And so they'll be fitting us in, but it is the same ones we used before. And I really liked what they did before, and they were very thorough and, very informative. So, but I'll let everyone know as soon as we get something.
Yeah, and the weather's not supposed to be too good for the next week or so anyway, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we're not gonna really expect anything for a while.
No,
Once we get past this round of weather, it wouldn't maybe hurt to touch base with them and just say, hey, if they got any, just one of those deals, just to kind of poke them a little bit and remind them we're out there, because like you said, we are small potatoes, so.
yep.
Okay. I'm just kind of looking around here. Anybody else have anything to bring up?
Oh, yeah, and Rick just reminded me, we did do a test. I wanted to make sure that before we left out of town that the repeater was still sick, and it is.
Okay.
So anyway, because the worst thing I want is for it to straighten itself out, because we won't know what happened. You know.
Well,
So
yeah,
it-
that, and then it'd be silly to have the climbers come
Yeah,
out.
you got it.
Yeah.
You got it. So anyway, did verify that right before I went to Nebo.
Okay, all right. Anybody else have anything?
I got something. I just wanted to remind the club that we have a new 440 net. It's on our 443.700 repeater, which is on the Brunswick Tower with a +5 megahertz offset and a PL tone of 107.2. The 440 net is every Friday at 8:30 p.m. after the Delta Club information net. And please join us to test out your 70 centimeter equipment and see how well we get into this W4BS repeater. It's been good so far. That's it.
Yeah, it's sounding good so far.
It is. It is. I'll admit I haven't done it too much, but I did do it the first night, and it was sounding really good. Which, you know, it's nice to have that option, because I think, you know, if we got any other events or anything that we're going to do, like any of the bike things or something, I was actually going to talk about the Bluff City Blues. That would be, you know, that's a good one to use for that. And it is sounding good, and it's encouraging that antenna and, you know, the whole setup that's on the same tower as the one we're having trouble with is not affected. So hopefully problems.
Yeah, it's about 10 feet away from the 8.2 repeater.
Yeah. So it's encouraging that the 8.2 hopefully didn't get fried. It's just some other little problem that, you know, we're all familiar with problems with antennas and different feed lines and stuff. So hopefully the 8.2 is not going to be anything too major. So.
Can you repeat that frequency again, please?
Sure, it's 443.7, and it has a standard +5 megahertz offset and a PL tone of 107.2 hertz. And it's Fridays at 8:30 p.m.
But feel free to use it any, you know, like all of our other repeaters, you know, that one, since it's in the same location as the 8.2, that's one of our primary repeaters right now. It covers a pretty good area. I tested it. Joe and I was heading out Highway 57, you know, Poplar Avenue out east, going out that way, and I got it pretty much to Rossville. It was a little sketchy in a few places, but heading out that direction, it's got some pretty good coverage.
Yeah, and anybody that's interested, it's also a fusion repeater
Okay.
if you want to use it.
Okay.
Can you repeat that repeater just one more time? We're trying to write it down.
Okay, sure. The net is called the 440 net because we're meeting on the 443.700 frequency. So UHF with a +5 megahertz offset. And the PL tone is our standard PL tone of 107.2 hertz.
Okay. Mary Jean just put it in our chat there. If somebody else wants to jot it down later.
Okay, thank you, Mary Jean.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me, where is,
Anything else?
Can somebody mention where that repeater is located? I'm just curious physically, where is it? How high is it? What kind of antennas on it?
Barry,
Barry?
Well, the repeater is on the what is it, the WPTY tower or WATN tower? Where channel 24 and channel 30 is. It's a 1,200-foot tower. We're at 500-foot level. Both of these antennas for the 8.2 and for this 440, they're located right next to each other. The antennas are. It's just a great setup, but we've got an unknown problem with our 8.2 right now that gives us about a 3.5 to 4 VSWR, which is not good. So anyway, that's what we need the climbers for, to tell us what's going on and run tests.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you're really, I've been out there a time or two with them, and I've seen it, and I've seen it a few other times. If you're real interested in where it is, there's a post office that's up there in Brunswick. It's very, if you do a Google, satellite search of where the post office is there in Brunswick, it's very, very close to that.
yeah, as a matter of fact, I sat at that post office and did the net with an HT when we were having problems with the 8.2 repeater before. I did twice. Yeah,
Yeah,
very handy, very handy.
yeah. It's it's out in that area. And I've seen it a few times. I saw it just the other day. Barry knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, the other day, I had to go out there the other morning real early, and I sure was dodging a bunch of deer. Let me tell you, they were all over the place out there.
Is the road any better? Didn't
Oh
y'all say the
yeah,
road-
road's beautiful.
Yeah, I
You
thought
go
y'all
50,
said,
40 miles an hour.
I thought y'all said last year that was, for some reason, that was one thing that did improve. The road was better. You used to have to
Oh, my
get on a
God,
boat
yes.
to get out there.
No, it's a piece of cake right now, and I hope it stays that way. So somebody spent a lot of money getting that thing back in shape. Otherwise, it was terrible.
Okay.
Put a lot of gravel down.
A lot of gravel.
That's good. That's good. All right. Anybody have anything else? All right. Just to kind of highlight some of the things that I said in the president's corner. We did have the Huntsville trip, the bus trip. That was a great trip. I want to thank Joe for all the work he did on that. He's always on top of getting that organized as far as chartering the bus and making sure that works out and the food and everything. Mary Jean and Scott did a good job on helping with the on the bus with the food and at the actual Hamfest. We had 2 tables set up there, and I think we did really good on selling some of the items that we had. We've had some items that for a while that we haven't been able to sell locally that we got some attention on at Huntsville and did a pretty good job. Let's see. So that was nice to see that. It was a pretty good turnout all the way around as far as at Huntsville. It more so than when I've seen it before. It was busy at first because people were wanting to see what was at some of the tables that people were offering, and then it died down pretty quick after about 12. So, but that was nice, and hope everybody that went with us had a good trip. The other thing I am still hearing, I've been in contact with the organizers of the Bluff City Blues bike ride. And at this time, I checked with them last week and they said at this time, they're still planning it. A lot of y'all may be, right. That is, okay. A lot of y'all may be familiar with that. That's one of the events that we normally do each year. But is somebody sharing something here or what?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. All right. No.
I think Andrew brought something up. If you can terminate screen share, Andrew.
I think I can too. There we go. All right, I think I did it. Unless it's something, if you, something you, that I'm missing that we need to, all right. But we are planning on doing that. That's a 1-day event. You know, the other one that we did miss, that was supposed to have been this last week, was a 2-day event that goes out of Landers Center, goes down to Tunica, and then comes back on Sunday. This one is a 1-day bike event that's up at Shelby Forest. They're saying they're still going to do it. So if anybody that's done it before is interested in it, if you would, get in touch with me, and I'll keep you updated on what's going on. I'll try to put some, I know quite a few of y'all are on our Facebook page. I'll try to put some updates on there as I hear things, and I'll try to, as I find out more, be on the net and update everybody that way. But I would imagine we're going to need some people. If they are going to do it, we're going to need some people for some of the aid stations, and a couple of the people out on the route, what they call SAG, what I call, you know, support and gears, what SAG is, but it's mainly just somebody that rides around the route and sees if anybody needs any help in between the help stations. So it is, it's something where we use the repeater. We usually use the 8.2, but this year, well, I'm sure we'll use the other one that's on the same tower, the one that Carolyn was talking about, the 443. So it's something that you can do, you know, anybody that's licensed at all, you know, you'd be a tech. And it's generally something where we're close enough where, you know, even a handheld would work. Mobile might be nice in some spots, but handheld should work in most locations. So if you want some more information on that, or if you are interested in doing it again, let me know. All right. That's all that I really had at this point. Mary Jean, are you, let's see if I turned it off. Or, all right, you should still be able to share. I turned off just that one person. But one thing that if you saw in the President's Corner and in the Sparks, since March, we have had 4 or 5, I don't know exactly how many meetings, but we spent several hours reviewing the bylaws. To his credit, Ken Lassiter, the previous president, started this process when he was president, and we didn't quite get through with it. And it was in the back of the minds of a few of us that were on the board when he was president. And it really came to light this past year, you know, with the fact that, you know, we're like everything else, we're doing things a little bit differently. We're, you know, the remote meetings, like I said, in the Sparks, the bylaws were written back before, you know, the internet, email, and everything was quite as popular. And it literally said in the email, we technically were supposed to be mailing through the post office the Sparks newsletter. So we've kind of dodged that one for a while. So that's just going to show how some of the things were a little outdated. I'd like to say that what we're doing, we're not changing anything as much as we're just updating a few things that needed to be updated and brought up to more current situations. So
About 25 years since we mailed anything.
yeah. So it's time that we did it. And the fact that we've done it, that we've reviewed it all, that as the board, we've reviewed it all. We've had a couple of people that have legal backgrounds, some lawyers, review it just to be sure that we've used all the proper terminology and everything, and they're pretty happy with it. So we wanted to use the opportunity of tonight, the fact that because of the COVID restrictions, we went back to Zoom, that this is a great time to share it online here. I don't intend to read it word for word, line by line, but I think we just like to hit each section. And if anybody's got any questions or comments or concerns, this would be a great time to do it. I am recording this meeting, and I will put it probably by tomorrow. By tomorrow, it just takes a little while to update and upload everything. But by noon tomorrow, I will have this up on our YouTube page, so that you can review it if you've still got any questions or not clear on anything. And the plan is, if there's no major changes that anybody feels that we need to make, we'll do a vote on it at the next meeting next month. And if everybody agrees, then this will be these proposed updates to the bylaws will go into effect. All right, now that I've rattled on, Mary Jean, if you are ready.
All right, so you want me to run through the summary?
Yeah, you would, thanks.
So Tag, you're it.
I was hoping you were still there.
So yeah, like Steve said, most everything is just really updating the language. There's a lot of reorganizing. So where there may have been multiple things kind of crammed under one article, we separated that out. So really just made things more detailed and wordy as well. There's a couple processes that were clarified, but most everything is pretty straightforward. So like he said, I'll just kind of highlight some of the changes, or not changes, I'm sorry, where we really emphasize the updates. This part right here in the purpose, we really expanded that quite a bit just to clarify and give more detail to like the activities that we do and what our goals are as a club. Section 2.2 or Article 2.2 under affiliation. As far as I remember, I don't think we had anything like written in the current bylaws as they are that we are an affiliate of ARRL. So now that just kind of gets that in there. As a nonprofit, we brought over that information or kept that information. One thing that we wanted to clarify with this, though, because there was some concern, was that we may offer door prizes as they are appropriated in the budget. And then another part too is that if there are any services or goods that club members offer, that the club can pay for those at fair market value. Just a lot of general information that we'll hopefully never need, but it's part of having bylaws. Have that in there. Let's see. We expanded upon the membership application process and just clarified. I think before it just said maybe like it's submit. So this we clarified, for example, that it needs to be submitted to the secretary or treasurer. Kind of the timeline for the process with that application for membership. So again, just clarifying processes mostly. So with the membership classifications, nothing content-wise really changed, except I believe that the honorary life membership was created. And then we also removed, we kept the definitions for the different life memberships, but then noted that they're no longer available. And this was before my time, but for those who aren't familiar with that, the reason why we've got some life members and no longer offer that is that it was my understanding it was part of kind of the restructuring to get some money flowing into the club, so that way expenses could be kind of handled. So it was just kind of a temporary thing that was offered, and that has since been phased out. So this just clarifies that it's been phased out. And then we also added a spot here that clarifies that a change of status and membership can occur. So that might be, we don't see this a lot from a membership application perspective, but this might be where if we have someone take one of the technician classes that Delta Club offers and they decide to join before the class is finished and before they test, then they would technically come in as a non-licensed member. And then of course, when they got their license, they would officially change. Nothing changes as far as what they would have to do, but just knowing that they would go from a non-licensed to a licensed membership. So just, again, more details and clarifying the processes. Let's see. This we just kind of went into and clarified just a little bit more between the two voting and non-voting memberships. Our current bylaws, talks about membership dues, but it does not specifically mention how the dues are prorated. And since that has been a consistent percentage that we've utilized as a process, gosh, for at least 5 or more years, we added that in there. So that way it would be part of the bylaws. And then down here, Article 3, Section 5, we just clarified a little bit more. If there was a need to remove a member, kind of what that would mean and the process for that. And then we also clarified this a little bit more with the removal of a board, an officer on the board of directors. Hopefully we never need any of this, but just, really we wanted to clarify the process for those instances if it occurs. And then also to make sure that it's just, just to clarify what options there are in the processes and things. So.
And like you said, the phrase you keep using a lot is clarify, and that's a good point. We did literally go by line, word by word, and because it has been so long since so many things have been done, and hardly any of us, maybe Joe and was involved with it before, anything that was not clear to us, this was a good time for us to clarify it more on our understanding of the way things are now. That's kind of the background of all of this. So just kind of keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm. Most everything on this part of the board of directors information did not change. Let's see. And a lot of it's common sense. So the president would preside over meetings, talking about the different voting options. As far as Article 4, Section 6 with meetings, before we didn't have a set day listed. So now this gives the specific day of the month. The first Tuesday of each month will be when the board of directors meets. And again, kind of like I mentioned earlier, there's it just kind of goes into a little bit more like Steve said as well, just clarified a little more if there is something that meeting options, what would happen if there is a need to remove a member or a board member.
Hey, Steve,
Yeah.
I lost the video feed that she's showing on the screen. I don't know if anybody else did or not. It's kind of like before when something happen.
I've got mine still.
I've still got mine.
I got mine.
I tell you
I
what,
have
if you want to sign out and sign back in, and I'll get you back into the meeting, see if that helps.
Okay.
All right, a big thing this is such a small, it's a one sentence, but it makes a huge difference, is that Article 4, section 6.4, the Board of Directors may consider matters that arise between meetings through electronic or other available means. I'll point this out here, and then later on with the membership meetings. Before, I think it was only, and Steve referred to this earlier, it talked about, well, I think you could vote by telephone or in person, the same as you had to mail out physical newsletters. So just, adding in things where we're allowed to meet electronically on Zoom or any other way that would allow us to meet. So that's where it's clarified in the board meetings, where it would
Mary
allow
Jean?
that.
Back to the board meeting on the first Tuesday, shouldn't we say the board of directors shall usually meet on the first Tuesday? If it's a holiday, we don't want to be meeting on on the first Tuesday. If there's a holiday, so we need to have it to where we can do an exception.
That's something we didn't think about, yeah. Okay, we can make a note of that. That's something we could, yeah. First
We can
Tuesday,
just say the board of directors usually meets on the first Tuesday of each month. And that sort of gives a place setting for it, but doesn't make it mandatory.
yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, because you pointed out before the shall is pretty restrictive. Yeah, okay. We can make that small change.
Well, do we want to wait until next month to propose any changes in one swoop? Or do we want to vote on them? Because I think any amendments to this would only require a majority vote.
Well, we aren't voting on it tonight anyway. It's
Okay.
all it is a proposed for next month. So let's go ahead and just make a note of it that we need to change
I
it.
made a note.
I think she's correct that it's being presented to the membership tonight. So it would have to be, even though we're just reviewing it now, it would have to have a full vote, as she said, majority vote. So might as well wait.
Well, yeah,
we
what I can do, if it works for everybody, is just in case we come across any others, I'll write it down and make a note, and then maybe try to think on some wording or propose some wording, and then that way we can do it all in one swoop in October. Because I don't know, we may have several suggested changes after folks get to read through it. So
Yeah. Hopefully not, but there is the possibility, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, again, just clarifying, allowing us the electronic option and not just the in-person option for meetings. The report of meeting, this again, more just clarifying that the board will report what happens. So this could be through the Sparks newsletter, whether that's in the minutes or the president's corner, as long as we're reporting what's being discussed in the meeting.
Or the video.
Let's see.
Between now and when this thing's updated again, we may do it by hologram or something. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, it does say or other means, so we've kind of opened the door for that. Nominations.
We'll create a hologram of Joe, and we'll just keep on going.
With nominations, again, just more clarifying, kind of expanding on that process and what it needs. to happen, a non-election. So the key change, well, the key proposed update with this, again, most of this is just continued over, just clarifying. But given the way that everything happened with COVID, and even now we're going back to a Zoom meeting after we thought we wouldn't have to do that, just a Zoom meeting again. 4.9.4, just adding in something where it says if for any reason elections are not held in November, the election shall be held at the next regular membership meeting thereafter. I don't think that the current bylaws says that it can be at the next meeting, and it was kind of open-ended and everything. So just more clarifying. That's the word that's going to be echoed.
Yeah, clarifying and or a little bit of flexibility, because we learned this year and last year we need to be a little, within reason, we need to be a little bit more flexible on a few things.
Mhm. With Article 4, Section 10, this proposed update, let's see, right here, previously it was to vote on by the membership, but this would change it to where it would be voted on by the board, majority of the board. Let's see. Removal from office, again, as before, just kind of clarifying if there was a board member that had to be, or that was recommended for removal, what may be requirements to bring that forward, what that process might look like. So again, stuff that we hope we never need, but just to make sure that we've clarified all we can.
That's fine.
Most of the duties for the officers didn't have any updates except for just kind of spreading them out to where they're their own section. But let's see, Vice President, we did make a proposed change, or propose a change there to where the Vice President would handle soliciting and encouraging new membership. So that responsibility would be added. With Secretary, again, just we wanted to clarify with the membership list. Let's see what that list may include. So like call signs, email addresses, because we no longer keep up with, the addresses will be on membership applications, but we no longer keep that on our membership list per se. We keep up with call signs and email addresses and attendance mostly. So this just kind of clarifies what that roster includes. And then we also clarified if there's any historical documents that the secretary would need to get the permission of the president before those would be transferred. Something that we don't really have happen, but if there was a need for it, then it's just clarified what that process would be. Treasurer, there weren't, again, most everything is continued on as before. One thing we wanted to make sure we clarified, because we had quite a bit of discussion on this, is that especially with everything with the repeater over the past, the 8.2 repeater over the past few years, we wanted to make sure we clarified that, the treasurer is authorized to pay any bills as authorized by the budget, but then anything outside of the budget, of course, we wanted to clarify that it would require the general membership vote, so where we would vote on that at the club. So inside the budget, the treasurer could handle it, and then outside the budget, it would require a vote. And so later on, we also, I think, clarify where the board has the ability to kind of clarify the money once it's approved in the budget. That can be handled But anything outside of that, it would require going to the club again to amend the overall budget amount. So just more clarifying.
I guess, and that's a good point, but the kind of in a nutshell, if we've got a proposed budget, we've got a certain total expenditure, we've got, the way different things in here, we phrased it. If we need to adjust one, like this last year or two, we've had almost no expenses for refreshments. If we wanted to reallocate that to something else that we need some more help with or something, we don't need approval for individual line items, but let's say that we said the budget, and I'm gonna come off the top of my head. Let's say the total budget was we were gonna spend $8,000. Well, if we can juggle around that 8,000 and get everything done, then we're okay. But if it, because of a major expense, because of the repeater or something, it goes up to 10,000, then we would need to come to the board, to the members to get approval to up the total expenditures.
With treasurer, again, most of these duties, the treasurer and the other officers on the board were already doing, but we just kind of added in. So like there wasn't anything in the current bylaws about certificates of deposits. So again, just clarifying different responsibilities that the officers have taken on over the past, I guess 25 years. Something else is that we wanted to clarify the process, trying to make sure that we keep everything open and light to the membership with finances and what we're doing. So we kind of clarified a process that if a member wanted to request to inspect any financial records or anything like that, just we wanted to clarify that process so that way it's available for members, but it's not going to interfere with the duties of the officer.
This is Tom. I've got a question. I believe being a nonprofit that the financial statements of the club have to be made available to anybody that might want to see them.
Correct.
Somebody in accounting or something might correct me on that.
And I probably didn't explain that very well. Yes, we've got that and we recognize that. We just wanted to kind of clarify the process of how they would go about it. So this wouldn't really, and I guess I should better clarify this. So what we thought by going about to clarify with this specific process is that if a member wanted to find out more information with the financial records, by going about with the request this way during a meeting of a board, it would be in the minutes of the board. So that way it would be reported to the rest of the club that a certain member came to get the financial records. So it would just be kind of more documentation and I guess more with the sunshine law or whatever to bring light of just that it was requested and given. Do y'all want to clarify that anymore?
Tom, does that work for you? I mean, does that sound okay? Or do you see that we need to clarify that anymore?
Mm-hmm.
You're muted if you're saying something there.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that a club member can do it either. Being filed with the IRS as a whatever we are, 403B or C or whatever it is, anybody anywhere can request that information. So I guess the point I was just trying to make is not limited to anybody that's a member of the club. Anybody can access it based on our nonprofit status. In fact, there's even some actual websites out there for larger groups that you can go out and actually look at their actual filings and stuff with the IRS and their actual returns if they're required to be filed. So just maybe a point of clarification. I wouldn't say that necessarily has to go before, it may have to go before the board to actually release it, but anybody can request them. You know, it
Okay,
says no
so maybe-
document shall leave without express permission of the board. If, you know, somebody actually were to request it, say my next door neighbor wanted to see it, you'd have to give it to them. So I don't know if that's a legalese thing that maybe the accountant or lawyer might need to just address to that point, maybe change the wording to say that it's available to, I'm gonna use the word anyone that requested, I think is what the IRS rule says on that.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because it is
Well,
limited.
good catch.
Yeah, yeah, we'll check into that and we'll make that change. Good point.
So she's gonna come Saturday morning, 10 or 10:30, which will be after my walk with Susan, so.
All right. Thank you, Tom. Let's see.
Don't hit remove.
Publications, again, no real proposed updates, but it just clarifies that it's not just, well, I think before it said printing, and this is just kind of shifting over to the idea of publishing. So publishing, since that can be done not only in print, but it can be on the website or just about any type of media. So it just kind of opens us up with that. It gives us more options. And then also clarifies a little more about what the director of publications needs to do with the the Delta Club email list, along with the secretary. The director of training, we just added the responsibility to clarify that the director of training is the one who coordinates the net control operators. Let's see. Since we didn't have anything about public information officer before, and we've been utilizing one, we wanted to add that and clarify that, and that would be an appointed position. Let's see. And we didn't really change anything on club historian and club council. I know we've gotten a lot of questions. We don't have anybody appointed at that currently, but we left it in there because there could be an option as we get more involvement down the road. So let's see. And then W4BS trustee, it was several, and then now it's just listed as just the single trustee. And then also currently it's it's recommended by the board to be appointed by the president, but we just kind of simplified it to where the trustee would be appointed by the president. So it would match the other positions that are appointed on how that's done. Let's see, Article 6. Again, more clarifying of tasks that can be done electronically versus having to notify in print. Something else that we wanted to make sure that we noted that all meetings and events could be recorded and published, just given everything with today, how all that goes. That way there's notice in our bylaws that is an option. Let's see. The special meetings, a special meeting may be called, and one proposed change that we did make to increase from 3 members to 5. So just having a few more, 2 more members needed to request a special meeting, which isn't really utilized, but, or we haven't really had a need to do that, but there is an option. This was a pretty significant proposed update. Again, just allowing us, the membership meetings to meet electronically or through other means. With committees, we just kind of, most of the information is the same. We just kind of clarified it a little more with that. And then we also simplified the information in the repeater committee. This whole article with club license trustee, we just, again, clarified about a lot of this information was not there. So we kind of clarified what the repeater would need, the repeater trustee would need. Fiscal affairs. So one thing we wanted to do as well, I mean, it's pretty much the same process. We just clarified what the process would be for the adoption of the budget. We wanted to make sure we clarified in writing what we were already doing of the timeline for that. And then kind of like Steve went into a little more detail earlier, and what we mentioned earlier, we wanted to clarify that if something unexpected were to happen, like if the repeater issue was going to be way outside of the proposed budget that was passed, then we could request a vote by the membership during a regular or a special meeting. So that way there's a little flexibility, but then when it comes to the big purchase decisions, it's still up to the club to decide. So just again, clarifying that process. Board discretionary spending authority, again, just more clarification of what the board is allowed to do as far as what we mentioned earlier. So there's, again, what Steve said, a little flexibility within the approved budget. But if it's outside of that, then it would go back to the club. We really took some time to clarify the amendment process for bylaws, what that would look like, the timeline it would look like, and then something else. So just in case there's like a cross reference, whether it's something to ARRL or somewhere else in the bylaws, it could be punctuation, it could be a technical change. So if we made an amendment and something, one of the sections didn't match up right with another reference, this right here would just allow the board to go in and, or the board to designate someone to go in and make those changes to republish back to the membership. So that way we're not having to go through a 2-month process potentially to add in a period or a comma or a section number change. Of course, this would not include anything that would be content related, just technical changes that would be able to be made. And that's it. So like Steve said, mostly clarifying.
Okay.
So,
All right. Thank you, Mary Jean.
Steve,
Yeah.
can we find out who Janet is?
Yeah, who's Janet? Yes, we got somebody, Janet, on here that if just so we can keep information on the attendance.
Steve, Dan Weiner. Janet's Janet Weiner.
Oh, okay.
She's on her own computer tonight.
Well, right. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. All right. Now back to this. Thank you, Mary Jean. She actually did a lot. She's the one. She's got the the software where we were keeping up with the updates. It was great while we were doing this. We could see the original version and then the updated versions and the notes and everything. And that's been a big help while we've been doing all this. She seems to be kind of wired where this is her thing. I kind of, as y'all may know, I kind of fly a little bit more by the seat of my pants, but it is nice to have these because there has been some times over the last couple of years where we've needed to go back to the bylaws to see how to handle everything in a fair manner and you know, follow the rules. So it was time to do it. It was time to do it. Does anybody have any questions? If you questions, or can you think of anything that you've run across, you know, that you feel that you know, if you've got any questions of something that's happened in the past and you want to see how we've got it addressed in the proposed bylaws so that it's handled in a way that you feel that it's clear, it's you know, in a little bit better wording or whatever, now's the time to do it. All right, I haven't heard anything, but you know, this is in Sparks. I am going to post the recording of this meeting on our YouTube page. That I know a lot of people have got access to that. Our Facebook page, I'll put a link on our Facebook page to this on our YouTube, so that everybody can see the bylaws, hear Mary Jean's explanation of it. And if you do have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can, you know, get in touch with me or somebody else on the board. And if you do have a question, comment, or concern, if you would get with us before the end of the month, and then we'll address it at the next board meeting. And if there's no if there's no, you know, changes, then the plan is that we'll present this for final vote at the next membership meeting next month, correct? Is that right, Mary Jean?
Yeah, and like Steve is saying, so really, I mean, we would vote on any amendments to this proposed amendment to the bylaws at the meeting, but just to kind of make things easier, especially if we're doing the hybrid meeting potentially next month, which we won't know, you know, right now what we're going to do, but if we are in a hybrid meeting next month, it would, anything that we can do beforehand to type it in might make it easier on everybody. So like Steve said, if you've got any suggestions for amendments or need any clarification, it'd be super helpful to let us know beforehand. And what we could do is try to maybe work out the amendment before and just show it as a highlight at the meeting. And then that way it's kind of easy to just go through and vote on it if that's what we want to keep or not. So, I mean, if not, bring it up at the meeting. We could do it, but
yeah, we could do it then. We could do it then, but then
it helped it, like he said, to do it beforehand. But yeah, we would vote on it next month.
Yeah, if there's no changes, off the top of my head, I'm saying if there's no changes, I don't know, we may go ahead and I start to say we won't resubmit it in the Sparks, but just to be sure, we'll probably submit, you know, what we've got right now before the vote in the Sparks one more time before the meeting next month, and then we'll give y'all an opportunity of voting on it. So, okay. If anybody's wondering, I did want to put in term limits on president, but I was voted down on that. So, but we'll deal with that.
Yeah,
All right.
Steve, and one more thing, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And Steve kind of mentioned this earlier, but I just wanted to echo, we did have a couple members who popped in on different meetings from time to time, or who served as a listening ear. And a sounding board, I guess, as we went through this whole process. I just wanted to kind of say thank you to everybody who did help. There's been a lot of members who have made suggestions for changes over the past several years, and those might have been jotted down in the, on a sheet of paper or, a mental note in the back of our heads. So anybody who's made any suggestions on changes to the bylaws at all, whether it's a recent process or in the past few years, just thank you for taking the time to help with that. So, because it was a big deal, but
It was. We
hopefully
spent
it's
hours.
representative of us now. So,
Yeah, I forgot what I said in the president's morning, but I did go back because we kept notes on all this, and I know how much we spent on this, and it was hours. Seriously, if there's anything that's come up, in the last couple of years that you're not clear why we did something, and this doesn't answer your question, and we need to clarify it a little bit more now, because if past history has anything to do with it, we won't do this again for another 25 or 30 years. So at least. So if you want to make a change in the next 25 or 30 years, now's your time to say something. So, all right. Still don't hear anything. Questions, comments, or concerns on the bylaws. Now, this did remind me that the other thing that I need to bring up is we're getting close to having elections for new officers. We have quite a few of the current board members that are saying that they'll add their list to the list of nominees. But if anybody is interested in any position on the board of directors, the only requirements are be an active member of the club and participated in 6 out of the last 12 meetings. That's one reason why we ask that you put your call sign and name and everything on the meeting, because this does count as meeting that requirement. So if anybody would like to, yeah.
Give what the open positions are.
We know for sure the open positions are vice president. I am before I wear out my welcome. I have said that if somebody else wanted to become if somebody else wanted to run for the position of president, they're welcome to do that. And Mary Jean said that as vice president, she's interested. She's interested in having her name on the ballot for president. So that opens up the vice president. And what else we got? The programs. I think we're going to have an opening in programs. And that's actually it, isn't it, Joe?
I think that's it, but if anybody else is interested in any of the other positions, we'll be more than happy to have 2 on the slate.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's we definitely have a need for vice president. So now the thing,
programs.
Huh?
And programs.
And program, yeah, vice president and program. So the thing is, if you get a phone call from me or Joe or anybody else that's on the board of directors and you weren't expecting a phone call, answer the phone. You can say that you're not interested, but you may be getting a phone call. And we would welcome your help with this. I've been doing this for quite a while, and I know that it's like any other club. This is one of the main clubs that I've ever been involved with as an adult. And the joke is it's always a struggle to have officers in any of these clubs, but without the officers, we don't have the club. So if you are interested, or if you know somebody else that you think might be a good person to do it, and they're too modest to step up, then let us know, and we'll follow up on it. Because the elections are going to be in November. This is September, so we need to know something by next month. All right. Anybody have anything else? All right. Nothing being heard? Anything at all?
So move that we call the meeting to an end.
Call the meeting. All right. I just wanted to be sure. All right. Richard's got a thumbs up. He's ready. All right. I do appreciate everybody joining us tonight. I will post this up on our YouTube page by tomorrow, but hopefully by noon tomorrow, if you wanted to go back and look at it because of the bylaws. All of our meetings, except for that one that I messed up on, is on our YouTube page. And so feel free to look at that at any time. And if that's it, I'm going to stop the recording and end the meeting. Don't forget to clean up around your tables and push your chairs under the table.
Thank you.
Thank you.